Hello, hello, hello. Or maybe I should say aloha, aloha, and aloha. And welcome to the Coach Dawn Allen podcast, episode 104. I am so happy this evening for you to join me. And I love you. Tell me where you are hailing from this evening. And please do. So, my name is Coach Dawn Allen, and I am the CEO of Stay Sexy Wellness. And what I do is I help overweight middle aged women who feel unworthy, unseen, and forgotten go from stressed out to having energy, drive, and motivation by making small changes in the nutrition, physical activity, and self care so that they can become fit, fine, fabulous, and so sexy, loving themselves from the inside out. Yes. And tonight's episode 104 is called Who's Hula'N. And I do have a special guest, and I'll bring her on in a little bit. Before I do that, I'm going to tell you my story. Well, how it started was, I was overweight, right? And one day, I knew I was overweight. I felt groggy, had no energy. I had them signs. My knees was popping. I'll walk in and just give out and all. And I knew it, but I still didn't do anything about it until one day I was spiritually driven to get on my scale. And I did that. When I got on the scale, I weighed 203 pounds. I never weighed that much before. And my thing was this: I lied to myself because I said I would never weigh 200 pounds. Never. And I learned over years, never say never, because when you do that, it happens sometime. But I said to myself, I would never weigh that much weight, and I did. Not me, but I did. I was her. So I'm like, well, what do I do, Lord? And immediately I got an answer, which was like mind blowing. Because how many times have you asked Lord for a question or an answer, and it might took 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years, or you're still waiting? I got an answer immediately to go to my computer. So I did. I went to my computer and I strolled through and I found a school that resonated with my heart. So I immediately joined, and months later, I was an integrated nutrition and health coach. But while I was studying, I was so focused on what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, how much to eat, how many times. And I just focused on that. I did lose 20 pounds, which was good. But I said, you know what? I'm not doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I have to add physical activity to this so I can get the full results. So when I did that, I lost additional 30 pounds. I lost 50 pounds by doing nutrition and physical activity and some self-care. But I added the physical activity. And I in the beginning, I hated it. I did not like to sweat. I'm not a sweater. But I had to change my stinking thinking. I had to change. And when I did, it was beneficial. So I changed my thinking to as I sweat, I'm getting rid of the toxins in my body. I'm getting ready to get rid of the fat in my body. So that's how I changed my stinking thinking. So if that's something you're interested in, I'm your girl, Coach D. You can always comment and that you're ready and I can help you. I can set up a one-on-one conversation with you and we can talk about your goals. Now, this evening, I have a special guest. Now, the theme of the last 2 weeks was physical activity, okay? Physical activity, like I just said, it helped me to lose additional 30 pounds. And I added the physical therapy, the physical activity to my workout, to my nutrition regimen. So, like I said, when you add it, what happened is it increased my metabolism. Because as you lose weight, it slows down. So that physical activity actually increased my metabolism so I can lose weight. It also has other benefits. Actually, it can increase your lifespan because of the decrease at the risk of heart disease and diabetes, cancer, and such and such. It helps with your bone strength, eases joint pains, tunes up your immune system, improves your sleep pattern, protects your mental health, and boosts your mood because you feel much better after you exercise. So I just want to throw that in there and shortly. So now we're going to talk about physical activity. Now, last week I had my sensei on there, Kiyoshi Carter. He talked about karate as a physical activity. Now, I'm a Gemini. I don't like doing things, everything the normal way. I like having fun doing things. Like fun things like, hey, I jumped out of a plane before, fun stuff. I don't like being bored. So, karate. So, tonight we're going to have our special guest, Moana Yee, and she's going to talk about hula flow, actually. And she's going to talk about hula as a physical activity that will help you with your body and tone up. So I'm going to read her bio. Okay. She is a single mom of two, a Polynesian dancer turned beauty entrepreneur, and founder of Aloha Lash Resort. What began as a lash therapy became a deeper calling, helping women love who they see in the mirror, and reconnect through the power of HA, the breath, blending Hawaiian culture, dance, and conscious movement. That is beautiful, and you're going to see it later on today. I guide women back to their soul through connection and embodiment. Isn't that beautiful? That is beautiful. Let me put on my glasses so I can see better. And I'm going to bring her on right now. Put on my glasses. I'm going to bring Miss Moana Yee to the stage. Moana, are you there, girlfriend?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. Thank you for being here. I just love, different type of movement. And I thank you. She invited me went to our classes, and I was surprised. Let me tell you why I was surprised. Because when I think of hula, I think of beautiful movement, swinging side by side. You're moving your body to the movement as you tell a story. But your hula flow is more than that. It's more than, and it surprised me in a good way. And I'm glad I was wrong because I thought it was just, hula dancing to the music, la 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 la. And it was more than that. It was so much more, guys. And she's going to tell you all about herself. But we're going to start up with, can you please tell us your story and how you started Hula Flow?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, I want to say thank you. I'm very honored to be here on your show, and congratulations to all of your success
Thank you.
in all the weight loss and the mindset training. I think that you're doing phenomenal things. And so
Thank
I'm
you.
really honored to be a part of your journey as well on to better health and better mindset, right? So, uh, well, my background, like you mentioned before, is I grew up as a Polynesian dancer, but I grew up off of the island. So I grew up in California as opposed to being there in the islands of Hawaii. My background, my ancestry is of Hawaiian descent. Um,
Mhm.
but I grew up in California. My mom is actually a singer and a performer as well. And
Wow.
so it's something that we just kind of grew up around, and it was inevitable that I was going to be a dancer. Um, all the aunties around and teaching us how to be a part of the culture. That's how we became part of the culture and how we kept the stories alive. And so they taught us the dances. And being that my mom was a singer, it was, very easy for me to hop into that. Every time she played music, it's disrespectful if we refuse to dance. So it's a culture as a respectful, we respect what we've been taught and it's handed down in tradition. And so that just was a big part of my life growing up. It became my first profession. I didn't know that was a thing until I watched the rest of my family as all performers. So if you had a luau or birthday or anniversary, some type of Hawaiian themed party, you would hire our group to come in and do the performances. And
Nice.
so that was my career for a very long time, all the way into, gosh, probably my 30s. Um, I even danced while I was pregnant. um, I didn't think of it as exercise until I did get older, and then I realized I needed this for myself. Um, but I carried that with me until I moved here to Texas, and it was just way too hot here for me. I could not handle the heat. I couldn't handle the. I was running out of breath too early. I'm thinking like, what's happening? So I actually got into the beauty industry, and that was a whole nother journey for me. Working with women, I got a chance to uh, just kind of dive a little bit deeper into seeing how our feminine essence, we diminish over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in this career for the last almost 20 years, coming up to 20, and I worked in the area of eyelashes and eyebrows. So it was mainly focused here. And as we did a lot of work in the mirror on how we saw
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, I realized how much us as women, we diminish our value.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and through that, we're always looking for something to help us look better in order to feel better.
Yes, that's true.
And it was always on the outside. You know, the things that we do to help us feel better in the mirror is a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the surface, our hair, our skin,
Mm-hmm.
things that when we wake up in the morning, we look in the mirror and the first thing we do is we try to find the flaws to pick ourselves apart. And so I did fall in love with the fact that eyelash extensions helped us feel better when we looked
Mm-hmm.
in the mirror in the morning, because you wake up looking refreshed as we look in the mirror. Um, but as time went on, it was something, actually 2020 is probably the the breaking point for myself. Sitting at home, I realized that I needed to do something to make me feel better. And, during that time, we were all so excited not to have to put makeup on, not to have to do our hair, not to have to go anywhere. But too much of that, we start to feel like we lose ourselves. And that turns back into, I have to do my hair, I have to put some makeup on, I have to do
Mm-hmm.
something because I'm just feeling like I'm falling into the rut of things. And for me, what happened is I ended up coming back into hula. I ended up coming back into the dancing. And with all that time on our hands, it really allowed me to sit and understand what hula was doing for me. It was actually healing me. And it gave me a chance to really sit still and connect with myself. And so all of that kind of led into what I now call hula flow, and I teach it as hula wellness, guiding everyone into conscious breathing, into conscious movement, so that we can intentionally connect with ourselves in order to better connect with the people and the world around us.
That was a big journey from hula lashes to hula flow and breathing. That's a lot of changes. That's beautiful. Can you imagine have you, I mean, you never thought about that. You can go from one point to other. Have you thought of?
Just following the journey, just following the journey. I fell in love with doing eyelashes, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd be doing it for as long as I can. And age is definitely playing a role in how my joints feel and how the eyes work. And I still love it. But now I get to do it on my terms. So
Yes.
I lived my life through being a single mom. It was very much in survival mode. And
Mm-hmm.
so I understood that the masculine energy was my driving force. And I lost a lot of that feminine side of me until I started to dance again. And as I
Mm.
was dancing, that's really what helped me to engage back into finding my feminine essence, embracing my feminine essence, and then allowing it to just flourish out of me. Um, and being able to understand how to guide and maneuver between the masculine and the feminine energy.
So you have the hula flow. Can you break that down? Because I know you have like, to me, I have it through three stages. It wasn't just hula dancing. Can you break and tell them about the hula flow and how does it work?
Yes. So we actually got to experience together
Mm-hmm.
the process, and so we take it from conscious breathing, which is where we start first. And for us, the way that I like to describe it is, and I grew up doing this, of course, because we did performances. So when we welcome people, we say aloha,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a very big and warm welcome. And for most of us, we know the meaning of aloha to be a hello,
Mm-hmm.
a welcome. And so, in this sense, exactly. In this sense, what I've done is I've taken the word, and when you break up the word into the syllables, alo,
Mm-hmm.
alo is the presence or the acknowledgement of, and ha is the meaning of breath.
Mm-hmm.
So we are now taking the acknowledgement or the recognition of the presence of breath. So when I say aloha now to you, aloha to me, to you
Mm-hmm.
in this sense is that I see you. You are a life form, right? Breath is our
Mm-hmm.
life form. It is our connection to our higher power. And so when we say aloha, I'm acknowledging you, that I see you as a
Mm-hmm.
presence, a being as presence. And we give that energy back and forth to each other. And so in hula wellness, hula flow, um, it's the introduction to the aloha spirit. And so moving that breath through the body consciously so that we are aware and just reconnecting into ourselves. So I follow a form of box breathing, um, and we go through inhale, we go through holding the breath, we go through exhaling, and then we hold the breath again. And so it's really a form of just being able to understand each movement of the breath is very important. We inhale with gratitude. We sit and we be present in the space of the breath. We exhale, we allow the release to take place because a lot of times we know through life we either hold our breath a lot or
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah.
don't breathe to our full capacity on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hold in the emptiness, trusting to know that the next breath is coming. So breath is something that it's our gift, first gift given to us, and it's the last gift that we give back.
Mm-hmm.
In between of that, no one says anything about it. No one teaches us what
Yeah.
to do with it. And but innately we know what to do when we are in panic mode. What is the thing that we refer we when we're helping somebody who's panicking, the first thing we tell them is to calm down and breathe. And we just know that. How do we know that? And so being able to stop and take the presence of breath really will help to center and bring us back to ourselves. And that is truly the most powerful thing that we have. And it's within us. We don't have to look anywhere else for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally within us, and we can control that. Now, one of the biggest parts that I focus on when we go through the breathing is the pause. The power of the pause is something that we skip over a lot, we miss. But in that pause is the moment where we can find clarity as opposed to reacting. We get the chance to respond. So it calms us into that state of knowing that we can return here into the heart, into our space of our own being, and allow the response to take place. Can you imagine if we just had more people responding instead of reacting in the world?
Know that.
Yeah.
So I remember you talking something about the hips and about the core.
Yes. So in the conscious movement part, so we move
Mm-hmm.
from conscious breathing into conscious movement.
Mm-hmm.
And when we go into the conscious movement, I really focus in on the basics. So teaching how to align the body from the feet all the way up. And one of the biggest things is that I focus in the lower hip area. And the reason being is because we hold a lot of tension here, and we also hold a lot of our trauma in this space. Um, Over time, as we've been belittled or feeling that we haven't been able to express ourselves. And this is just over time. Most of us women, we start to become very small. We lose our voice, we lose our space, we don't want to take up space. And so we tend to stop moving in the hip area. And it's a natural motion for us to walk and our hips move. But over time, we just become real small in this area. And so it becomes to be very stiff and tight here, where in the core, and then we become weak here. So we have stiff in the hips and loose in the core, which is completely opposite. We should be we
True.
should be very strong in the core and then a lot more loose in the hips, being that we can be more feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And we relate that to our feminine, right? If you see that swish in the hips, and you see little girls all the time. I have an 8-year-old niece, and she is always rocking her hips around, and it's just natural for us. And but at what point did we actually lose that? Where did
That's a good
we
question.
stop? And so all of that is just come over time. Not to mention that, we sit all day long. Most of us sit
Yeah.
all day long. So it's an energy that gets stuck here. The blood flow. I have an uncle who taught me that too. There's like the blood flow is like our highway system. And right here in this core, in the womb area, is where we tend to have the traffic jam. There's not
Mm.
as much movement here. So the focus is on allowing this energy to be released. We focus on moving this around. We focus on tightening up the core. So it becomes more of a full body workout. And before you know it, we're done and you're sore the next day. But slow, controlled movements to me is a lot harder than trying to pick something up, do it real fast, and
Mm-hmm.
get into the dance. Yes, the dance is fun. The faster we move, the more fun and upbeat it is. But really slow and controlled movements can make such a world of difference.
But I like that. I didn't mind doing that because I knew after you explained to me about the trauma in the hips, and I called it, and you just it was simple because we just did a regular walk and my hips were moving. I'm like, oh yeah, they are moving. Okay. And we did the hip thrust. I call it hip thrust. I don't know what you call it, but hip thrust like that. And that was like, okay, I can do this. It's like dancing, fun. And
Uh-huh.
I'm actually getting rid of some trauma, like, okay, get away, go away. So it was fun. I didn't really think about hula um as therapy. No, I was just thinking it as a physical activity to move. I wasn't thinking about actually the breathing and having get to the point where the breath goes to the whole body and gets rid of the trauma and gets it out. I didn't even think it was like that deep. So I was like, wow, that was really really interesting. I really enjoyed the session because I really didn't think about that. And what about the shoulder roll?
So I do, yes. So the alignment and the posture of the body is a big deal.
Mhm.
So when we relate it back to hula dancing, you see the story being told through the motions and the movements. And so to uphold the body and give the presence and the poise is really important. And so we add that into as we're practicing this movement, it aligns all the way up. And so we have a strong core, and then we roll into rolling the shoulders back so that
Mhm.
it opens up the heart space.
Yeah.
And now we have this broad, in the chest. What I think what did you call it?
Oh,
Chest
oh, in
forward,
in oh, in the gym we call it chest proud because you're like chest
chest
proud.
proud. There.
Yeah, and I love this
Yes,
is one of my favorite exercises anyway. It feels good when you do this. One of my favorite
yes.
exercises. It just feels good, and if you're stiff,
It
it
does.
just
It feels
opens
really
it up.
good.
Hmm.
It does open us up, but it also
Hmm.
opens up this area. We want
Yeah.
the heart space to be open, and most of the time, we start to hunch a lot,
Yes.
especially now with the fact that we work like this all the time. So the shoulders are always rolled forward, and instead of being pulled back. So for myself, I have multiple spine injuries. Plus, I have a scoliosis, a curvature of the spine. So to practice good posture has always been something that I've had to live with my entire life. And it's a good reminder that when we're dancing hula is to do most things with a good posture. and it just becomes habitual. It's good for us, opening up the heart space.
So you're saying as we work on the computer, we're hunching over more?
Everything we're doing, as long as our arms are forward, our
Mm-hmm.
shoulders are rolled forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're typing on the computer, we're holding our phones, usually
Okay.
like this, we're driving. So a
Mm.
lot of it is always shoulders forward instead of
Oh.
rolled back.
Hmm.
So when we have our shoulders rolled back, we take up more space this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's about taking up more space. So when we hold our shoulders back, we have our arms out to the side, we take up this entire space. This is your dance space. Kind of like dirty dancing, right? This is my dance space. This is my dance space.
Yeah, when I was trying to dance left my wall, I kept hitting the wall. Like, wait. I didn't. I had a little small space. I was working right here, and I was hitting the wall a little bit, but I was still doing it. It was still fun. So you were saying something about when we do the breathing, it's important to have no shoes on.
Yeah, it is really good to be barefoot. When we're barefoot, we have the capability now to use all of the muscles in the feet, even down to the toes, right? And
Mhm.
we a lot of us wear shoes a lot, so we're not actively using these muscles. We're not actively bending in the toes, and so as you're dancing, we are using a lot of the feet to balance. Balance is a lot in there, so you're working from the toes all the way up. Yeah, barefoot for sure. And
Hmm.
especially if you're out, outside, it's definitely good for grounding to do this type of exercise or do this type of work while you're outside, being grounded in the grass.
Mm.
It's also great if you're at the beach. That would be my ideal spot.
Okay, so that's part two. Tell us about the last part that people know about the hula part, the dancing part,
Uh,
the embodiment,
which part are you referring to?
the
Oh, the
embodiment.
embodiment.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. So as we move into understanding what the basic steps are, then we can move into telling more of the story. And so for us, as we dance hula, we understand what the songs are about. So it could be about our family history. It could be about the land. It could be about a location. And so in this particular courses and classes that I provide has more to do with you feeling the embodiment of yourself, because then your story comes out within you. It's your own story. Whatever you are tied to. It's about releasing what's within you. It's about embracing, embodying what your feminine essence looks like, what it feels like, and how you decide that you want to display it out and give it out. It's about the dancer transpiring and transferring that energy. So when you watch a hula dancer dance, she has the motions, she's moving around, whatever she's doing, it has everything to do with how she expresses it, though. So it's not just about the movement, it's how the expression comes out, whether it's, feeling the love
Mm-hmm.
or, it's something that they feel heartbreak for. And, it's all about your own embodiment and expression and moving that out of the body.
So you're saying that actually, in reality, we are telling. Well, we're going to learn how to tell our own story in our own hula dance
Correct.
through hula.
Correct.
That's cool.
Yes. Yes. Just
One thing you
another
mentioned
version
about.
of telling your story.
Mhm. One thing you also mentioned was about mirror work.
Yes. So that is another. It's another caveat that when we're dancing, seeing ourselves in the mirror, and through my journey of working with women in the beauty industry, the part that had to do with the mirror was really powerful to me. Seeing how we see ourselves in the mirror, and a lot of us, women in general, I wouldn't say so much men that I know of, we avoid mirrors. We avoid the mirror completely. And so this is something that when we're dancing, So most of the women that I work with, and when we're dancing, you're kind of focused more on me as what I'm
Mm-hmm.
teaching or what I'm guiding you through, and you're not really focused on what you're looking at in the mirror. So as we progress and you get all of the steps down, we move through a section where we get to really dive into the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So what I like to say is that I used to adorn the windows to the soul, and now I've dove through the window and I get to adorn the soul. So I take you on this journey to go through your own windows so that you can adorn your soul in the mirror. And
Okay.
so as we're moving, you're seeing yourself differently in the mirror. It's how you relate to yourself. It's a little different.
So yeah, I'm thinking when I first heard the same mirror, I'm thinking like affirmations. Just saying the affirmations, you are beautiful, you are smart, you all of that. But it's not really, it's more about it's different. It's more about seeing yourself in the mirror and how you look and how you feel and making sure that you are moving properly and feeling good. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you say you have a course, is that correct?
Yes, I have a course that's coming. So it's not out quite yet,
Okay.
but it will be soon. I am going to be putting out the link though for people to pre-register,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a 3 series course. So it starts with the basics of
Mm-hmm.
breathing, and then we move into reflective work, mirror work, and then we end with a course that has to do more with journaling and how we relate, how we connect
Mm-hmm.
everything together, and we connect to our higher power. So a lot comes out on the journal. And the reason the journaling part is so powerful for me is because all of this actually came to me through journaling.
Mm.
Um, I took a year to really dive into my writing, and it literally just presented itself, blueprint and all, right on the pages. And so, excuse me, as as we go through each session of the series, you're still journaling about what's happening
Mm-hmm.
and you're taking notes. So we assess and we go over a lot of that in the third series.
And then how
So I'm
long
really
is
excited for that part.
and how long is your course?
It's a 3 month course.
3 months.
So
Okay.
each month we focus on one series. Yeah,
Oh,
3 month
okay.
course. So I'm really excited for this. This has just been
Mm-hmm.
it's become the passion project that I never knew I had. And so the transition and where I am in life, this is really just my journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just the journey that I've been on, and sharing it with other people. It's just been showing me that we can all do this. We all have breath. We all just don't know how to use it properly and put it to the use that we really need it to do. You know, Centering ourselves, being one with ourselves, connecting with ourselves is one of the best things that we could do, and we always have it with us. um, Again, reacting over responding,
Mm-hmm.
it would make the world a better place.
Let me see if I can see comments here. Let's see. I connect anybody. I have some comments on Instagram. If I may look at Instagram.
Let me see
Value.
my screen.
Wow. Give the chest. Oh, give the chest more air. Yes. Oh my God. Said they love to do it grounding on the beach. What about men? Is it possible for them to do the hula dance without connecting to a feminine essence since they are masculine? That's a question for you, Moana. You heard that?
Yes, 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 absolutely. So it's a very strong presence with men. We have men that do hula. Yes, yes is the answer.
Okay.
um, there are different types of ways that the men do it. Maybe not as feminine, um, but they definitely have a softer side to them. And men do have a feminine essence within them. We all, as humans, have a masculine and feminine energy within us. It's just to what level and how we balance them. This is, yes, more geared towards women, mostly because women for a long time, we have been in our masculine for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And embodying the feminine is helping us to really nurture who we are so that we can come back to more balance of the masculine feminine energy.
So you're
We've
saying
been
that
like this for a long time.
Right. So hula helps us to get back to our feminine side, more to our feminine side. Okay.
Correct.
Need some more
Mm-hmm.
comments. It says, "Well, I have a lot of inner expression, and we tell our story in a hula dance. That's impressive." Okay. Um, do you have to be a certain weight size to do the hula?
No, 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 not at all. Hula is for anybody, any size,
Mhm.
any age, um, yeah, anybody can do hula. We have hula that you could even do if you cannot move from the bottom down. You can do hula from the chair, and it's all about the same thing. Just really about expressing what is within you and able to transpire and tell your story.
Okay, let's see. Not just in dance, in life general. You may not know, but you tell your story in so many different ways. Now, okay, so tell them that you different ways to tell your story, not just dance. Okay. Um, of course, it's not a safe place where you can find what you want. Okay. Um, it says, of course not. It's a safe place where you can do who and what you want. Okay. You can be whoever you want as long as you like it and love it. I know that's right. All
Yeah.
right. I'm ready to get my hula on. That's always destined for greatness. Said that. She ready to get her hula on.
Let's go,
Uh,
Sonia.
please. It's so play sounds like so much fun. And hula is about feeling your inner manner expressed through the motions of ha. Okay, use a Hawaiian word. This is
Oh
all right.
yeah, that's
They
my
had
best
they said
friend
that
in
they were
California.
listening.
So yes,
They were
she's
listening.
she's a, so I grew up dancing with her, and so yes, this is my best friend in California.
Oh,
Mm. Yes, yes. Hula is about feeling, yeah, but it is about feeling your inner power. So your mana is your power, and we do express this emotion through our breath, just like she said.
oh.
Absolutely.
So I'm reading here.
So
I haven't been able to read the Facebook. I haven't pulled that up, so I have to read the comments later. Okay, but I did read those. But I'm so happy that if you guys receive value, please put value in the comments. We love to know that we made you happy this evening, and talked about another way to use physical activity, other than just going to the gym or doing walking and bike riding. Nothing wrong with any of those things. But I always want to be able to give you a think about you having different choices of moving your body that's more expressive and more fun. So I'm hoping this evening that we conquer that and we showed you and shared with you that there's another way of having movement other than the normal stuff. And I think Moana did a beautiful job of telling about hula, because I thought that hula was just dancing to music and telling a story. But I love how you showed us that no, it's really controlled movement, controlled breathing. Um, gather, we're all connected together with the spirit, and how we got to get this get this best energy up and out of us, and to be free and healed. And then as we do that, we can have some fun moving our bodies and telling our own story. That's
let
beautiful.
the
I
hips
love it.
rock. That's what I like to say.
I
Let the
like
hips
that part.
rock.
I like the front
Let the
thrust. I
hips
like
rock.
that one. And I like around the world. I like the around the world. Hey.
Around the island. Around the
I
island.
call it around the world, around the island. I like that one. That was good. it reminds me of whining one little bit. Wine in the
Wine.
islands.
Yeah.
Yes, not
Mm-hmm.
yeah, should have had go. So yes, I want to thank you. And before you go, please tell us how they can reach you and communicate with you, please.
Oh, absolutely. On Instagram at Hula Flow, HULAFLOW. Um, or you can email me directly at hula girl, HULA number six,
Mhm.
IRL at gmail.com.
Well, I want to thank you, my special guest. You were beautiful as ever. I do like your eyelashes; they are nice. So you are doing it. I love them. Nice eyelashes.
I have to tell you, I really love your background, and I love that you got dressed up. So I
You're
love that.
welcome. Well, I used to live in Hawaii for a couple of years, It was fun. I loved it. It was a beautiful, beautiful island, beautiful, beautiful people. So I just feel like being, having that Aloha spirit tonight, this
Yeah,
night.
yeah,
Just
no,
for
yeah.
you, girl.
Well, so I did want to make sure that I invited you if for your hosting for your community to come in and we can do a full session instead of the little sample session because I know you were pretty disappointed that you only got to have a little piece of the taste of it
I
and you
wasn't
wanted
disappointed.
more.
Oh yeah, I did say that. I did say that. What I said was exactly. Now I wasn't disappointed. It's just that as I was getting in, I was like, "Oh, I like this." I was getting in and doing my thing, and so good
Uh-huh.
night. I was like, "Wait a minute, I'm not done yet. I'm just getting my flow in. I'm getting my little hands going and doing all this, and doing around the world. Hey!" And then all of a sudden, she said, "Okay." I'm like, "Wait a minute."
Thank you.
It's like. So I had to tell her, I said that I was enjoying myself and you just shortchanged me. But she's actually gonna gracious enough to have a longer course. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Yes,
I can feel better
absolutely.
now.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll do one for your whole community.
Okay. Well, that's all I have for this evening, guys. I hope you have enjoyed our session tonight. Please put a V of value that you loved it. I'm sure you did. And I'll see you next week. So as I always say, stay well and healthy with Stay Sexy Wellness. And good night
And
for now.
aloha.
Aloha, baby. Aloha, yes. All right.
Aloha.